Hello guys, good morning. So quick announcement when it comes to your final exam. So for people who um, have maintained an A every quarter so far, um, you guys will have a special assignment, and I will give that out on Thursday. And that will be your last assignment for chemistry and for math, um, because I don't want you guys to have to sit through all the reviews if you're not even taking the exam. So you're going to get kind of a comprehensive assignment that you can start on Thursday and then turn in at some point before the exam day, and you'll be done. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you guys are good with that. But let's finish up functional groups today, um, and then we'll have a functional group quiz tomorrow. Yay! So the one we're going to talk about, well, we got three today. The first one is a carboxylic acid, which is the oic acid. So oic acid is what we tag onto the end of a of one of these in the name. So these are generally used in soaps. They smell really awful and unpleasant. Usually really strong, really awful smells. Um, and they're really waxy too. So they're used for some things like that. This is what it looks like. If you see a carbon double bonded with an oxygen, and then single bonded with an oxygen, and the oxygen is an OH, that's a carboxylic acid. Now, you might be asking, well, what's the difference between that and the one we looked at yesterday? Because the one we looked at yesterday looked like this. Well, the difference is this is a C double bonded with an oxygen, a C double bonded with an oxygen, or single bonded with an oxygen, and there's a carbon. It keeps going after that oxygen. Here, it ends with a hydrogen. So if you see an OH, it's a carboxylic acid. If you see an OC, it's going to be an ester. So an example of this would be literally the one we just drew, except this time I'm adding in all the little hydrogens. So what's the longest carbon chain we have here? I see two carbons, and 2 means eth, so this is going to be an eth something. The only thing that's going to give this an identity is my carboxylic acid, so I just add oic acid at the end of ethan, so I get ethanoic acid. Yay! This is also known as acetic acid, which again is used very often in chemistry in college. Next one we're going to go through is an amide. I don't have to go through too much of this because it's the same thing again with a small difference. An amide and an amine is basically anything you hear about ammonia. You probably have ammonia at somewhere in your house. That's an amide or an amine. And it looks like this. You still have that carbon double bonded with an oxygen, but instead of having a single bond with an oxygen down at the bottom, you have a nitrogen. Okay? So it's the same thing as a carboxylic acid and the same thing as an ester, except instead of having the oxygen down here, single bonded, you have a nitrogen. Pause it if you need to copy. And the last one we're looking at today is an amine. So an amine is literally just any nitrogen with a carbon. I gave you an example here, but what this could look like is if you had um, NC, you could have NCC, or you could even have NCCC. As long as you have a nitrogen as the parent, the base of operations on that element, then you got this, or compound. So I have my nitrogen here. He's got two hydrogens and a carbon. Since I see this bond, this guy's going to be an amine. In this one, what's the longest carbon we have? Well, I only have one carbon, which means it's methane. Um, this is an alkyl group, so I'll say methyl, like we talked about yesterday. So this is methyl, and I just literally add the word amine at the end, so methylamine. Your homework today is a little unique. I'm giving you a quiz tomorrow. I'm considering counting it for 3 quiz grades. So this might be a little bit more of a weighty quiz. It's just going to be on all of the functional groups we've covered so far. The alcohols, the ethers, the esters, the amines, the amides, the carboxylic acids, all that jazz. So since it's going to be worth a lot, I'm not going to make these super easy questions. Um, it's going to be a lot of identification. If I show you something, can you tell me what it is? Is this an amine? Is this a carboxylic acid? So your homework is to study for that. Um, Study all the functional groups and text me on GroupMe a picture of how you're studying it. Are you just reading your notes? Are you making flashcards? Um, don't just read your notes. I want you to show me something. Are you rewriting it? Are you doing flashcards? Show me something you've made to study for this quiz, and that's your homework. But with that, I bid you guys adieu. Have a wonderful Tuesday. See you tomorrow.